This is all about subtracting numbers, fractions with unlike denominators in word problems. So let's do this one together first, and then I'll give you a couple more to show that you understand it. So this question is a survey showed that 9 of every 25 students like dogs, while 13 of every 20 students like cats. How many more of the students like cats than dogs? So first we have to identify the fractions. 9 of every 25, that's 9 out of 25, so my fraction is 9/25. And then 13 of every 20 students, so that's 13 out of 20. How many more of the students like cats than dogs? How many more means subtraction, which goes along with our topic since we're doing subtraction. So the thing to do is to find the common denominator. And 25 and 20, only the lowest common denominator they have is 100. So I'm going to multiply 25 by 4 to get 100, and then 9 times 4, the same number, is 36. So my new fraction is 36/100. Then 20, I need to multiply by 5 to get 100. 20 times 5 is 100. 13 times 5 is 65. So here are my new fractions. How many more of the students like cats than dogs? So take my cat's number, which is now 65/100, and I'm taking away my dog's number to see how many more. What's the difference between the two? And 65 minus 36 equals 29 out of 100 students. Okay, for this one, we're talking about Catherine making a pie. She used 3/2 of pints of blackberries and 7/3 pints of blueberries. How many more blueberries than blackberries did she use? So notice that these fractions are improper fractions, but that's okay in this case. We're just going to leave them as improper fractions and do our subtraction. So here's a hint to get you started. We need to find the common denominator. So I'm looking at 2 and I'm looking at 3. And 2 and 3, the lowest thing they have in common is a 6. So 6 is going to become my new denominator. So I ask myself, how do I get from 2 to 6? I multiply by 3. So I'm going to do the same thing to the top. 3 times 3 is 9. So 9/6 is my new fraction. And then 3 to 6, I multiply by 2. So 7 times 2 is 14. So here are my fractions with common denominators. How many more blueberries than blackberries? So I'm taking my blueberry number, which is 14/6. I'm going to subtract my blackberry number. So 14 minus 9 equals 5/6 of a pint. Do you see why we wanted to leave these in improper fractions? Because my answer ended up being a proper fraction. And that's a lot easier than worrying about mixed numbers at this stage. So 5/6 of a pint is the correct answer. Okay, Jill used 5/6 of a cup of flour and 1/3 of a cup of sugar. How much more flour than sugar did Jill use in her recipe? So I'm going to find a common denominator. I have a 6 and I have a 3. And rather than doing butterfly method and multiplying and get something over 18 when I just multiply these together, I can just look at 1/3 and I know that if I do 3 times 2, I will get 6. So I can just leave 5/6 alone and just change this fraction and save myself some steps of having to reduce my fraction, simplify my fraction later. So all I need to do is change 1/3 to get a 6 on the bottom. So 3 times 2 equals 6. 1 times 2 is 2. So now I have 5/6 and 2/6. So I'm taking away 5/6 minus 2 equals 3/6. And I can simplify that. So 3/6 is the same as 1/2 of a cup. Couple more. Okay, Ruby noticed that she had 5/6 of a pound of cinnamon yesterday, but now she only has 2/3 of a pound. How much more cinnamon did Ruby have yesterday? So here's the same kind of problem. I have a 6 denominator and a 3 denominator in my numbers. And rather than do butterfly method and get an 18, something 18ths, I can just change one fraction to get a 6 on the bottom and save myself some steps. So how do I get from 3 to 6? I multiply by 2, and then 2 times 2 is 4. So here's my new fraction, 4/6. Today, or yesterday, I had 5/6, or Ruby did, and today she has 4/6. So take away 5 minus 4, and she had 1/6 of a pound more yesterday. Okay, this one, Karen bought 4/5 of a pound of broccoli and 2/10 of a pound of cauliflower. How many more pounds of broccoli did she buy? So in this case, I'm going to look at my fractions and I actually see 2/10 can be simplified into a fifth. So I can do my simplifying now and not have to do it at the end. 4/5 is already as low as it can go, but 2/10 is the same as 1/5. So I can just change that right there and then I can solve my problem. So 4/5 minus 1/5 equals 3/5 of a pound.